There's a quote by Eric Thomas, and it says, "Greatness is remembering in the dark what God told you in the light." Yep, I want to say it again because I want to make sure you get it. Greatness is remembering in the dark what God told you in the light. Remembering what God told you. Remembering what God called you to do. Remembering who God said you are. Remembering. Because if he said it, you should believe it. Why? Because he's a man of his word. He's a man of his word. He hasn't lied to you yet. So why don't you believe him? And I think too many times we can get caught up in this thing called life. And life can throw so many things at us that it can make us forget about what God called us to do. Like so many things can happen and it can make us forget about who God said we are. Like it can make us, it can prevent us, it can stop us from reaching our full potential. It can paralyze us, it can keep us stagnant. I remember an interview, and I can't remember who did the interview, but it was an interview I saw on YouTube. And the guy did an interview with a decorated soldier. And they were talking about his journey, his life, and all of that. And the interviewer asked the question. He said, "What caused you to change? What motivated you to do something different? Because hearing your story, you wasn't always like this." And the man said, "I want to be honest with you. I was sitting on the chair and I dozed off." And he said, "I had a dream." And he said it was one of the scariest dreams of my life. He said it scared me to change. He said I was sitting at a table across from God and I was telling God all the things that I accomplished, all the things that I did. And he said while I was talking, God slid over a sheet of paper with my name on it. And on that sheet of paper were a list of accolades. Became the first to do this. Inspired millions and millions all across the world. Trained thousands and thousands. Became a great father. Became a great husband. And the list went on and on and on. And he looked at the list and he looked at God. He was like, "Wow, that's amazing." But he said, "God, I did none of those things. I don't even know who this person is because it can't be me because I did none of it." And he said, what God said next changed his life forever. What God said next motivated him like never before. God said, "I know." He said, "But this is what you were capable of." I need y'all to catch that. He said, "I know, but this is what you were capable of if you wouldn't allow fear to stop you." He said, "This is what you were capable of if you would have just stopped doubting yourself." He said, "This is what you were capable of if you would have just stopped listening to yourself and listened to me. When I told you you were a soldier, I meant it. Even though you may not look like a soldier at that time. When I told you were going to do phenomenal things, you should have believed me. Even though it didn't look like you were going to do phenomenal things at that time. When I told you you were beautiful, you should have believed me. When I told you you were capable, you should have believed me. When I told you you could accomplish it, you should have believed me." But because you didn't, you missed out on all of this. Because there's somebody that's listening to me right now, that God says you're capable, that he says you're going to do it, that he says you're going to defeat it, that he says you're going to overcome it, that he says that it's possible. But the only problem is you don't believe. The only problem is you looking at yourself and say that it can't be me. This is not possible for me. And I'm here today to tell you to stop listening to yourself and start talking to yourself. And I need you to say, if he says it, I believe it. I need you to say, if he says it, I believe it. I am who he says I am. I am who he says I am. So if he says I am healed, I am healed. If he says I'm going to defeat it, I am going to defeat it. If he says it's possible, it's possible. If he says I can do it, I can do it. Why? Because I am who he says I am. I am who he says I am. I am who he says I am.